Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Oh, welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Chinook Seedery. This is episode 534. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host and birthday boy,
Hey,
Nate Reyes. Nate, how we doing?
KC, how are we, buddy? Doing good. Just another day. I got pretty depressed a couple weeks ago because I was at that time 31 and change years old. That realization that it's not the age you're turning, it's the age that you've completed. And when that switches, when that perspective, it just it kind of sucks, you know, when you figure that out. It's this, like, but for some reason I think you just get lost in the sauce and think I'm just turning 32. No.
You kind of feel robbed, like, of a year of life. You're like,
you do.
And it's every year. You're reminded of this fact. You're like, well,
yeah,
there goes another year of my life.
Yeah. So good stuff though, man. Good stuff. Got spoiled. Everybody's spoiling me. Feel blessed, man. Feel blessed. I'm excited for this lid you got me. I got a new lid today from the wifey.
You know how hard it was to purchase a Yankees hat?
Yeah.
Oh my, like under my account.
That's what I was gonna ask. It's not the pod account, it's your account. It's under your name.
Oh no, it's under my name. Under my
nice.
Account with said company. It's wasn't fun, but you know what? The things
Sick
we do.
Hat though. I'm stoked for that.
The things we do for our friends.
It's true. It's true.
Well, there's no Yankee ball for you to enjoy today, but I figured we could talk some ball around the league, if you're so inclined.
I'm inclined.
You wanna talk some Pittsburgh Pirates? You wanna talk some Pittsburgh Pirates? Is that what I'm hearing?
Is there like a remix to this song that we can play that just like plays it slow and tragic?
What a joke. My goodness, what a dumpster fire this franchise is. My goodness.
I know.
I mean, where do we start? Derek Shelton fired. This goes to show you the state of their team right now. I came into today planning on talking about the Pirates, but for a completely different reason. I wanted to talk about Paul Skenes and how he has little to zero run support anytime he goes out these days, really in his short career thus far. And then the news drops that Derek Shelton has been fired, further adding to the dumpster that is this fire of a franchise. Good on the Pirates for doing what they needed to do, I guess. I feel weird saying that because you just never know truly how a guy is received by the players, by the front office, by the fans. But to your point that you've brought up many times before, and a lot of other people have, it's a common occurrence in sports. When things get this bad, heads gotta roll. And it sounds like that he maybe has lost the clubhouse a little bit, which that tends to happen when losses start accumulating, when bad vibes just continue to pile on one another. The manager is often the one that everyone looks to.
Yeah.
And I think the Pirates were just done looking to Derek Shelton, and so they showed him the door. I don't know. Like, where do you go from here if you're the Pirates?
I don't know. Like, I don't. when you fire your manager in May, this isn't like a oh, we're trying to spark something. We feel like we have something. This isn't like a Joe Girardi and Rob Thompson situation. You know what I mean? It's almost like you got to pack it in. Like it's May and you got to pack it in. And I think for the average baseball fan that may not be super close to the Pirates and they just look at the standings every once in a while can be like, yeah, of course. They're 2-26 at the time of this recording. Of course they're going to pack it in. Like it's
12-26, not 2.
What did I say? 2? I said yeah.
It may as well
12.
may as well be
Might
2
as well
and
be.
26.
I meant 12. But yeah, it's just like you feel like I don't see this team going on a run. I don't see this team all of a sudden like flipping the script with this transition. I feel for Pirates fans because it doesn't feel like there's any light at the end of the tunnel. At this point, I feel like Pirates fans forgot that they're even in a dark tunnel. It's just what life is at the
That's
moment.
all they know is darkness.
That's just what it is. And it sucks because of like the talent that you see on the roster and like the potential that you see with some of these names. You have like your old vet who's going to have his retired number as a Pirate. Like you feel like there's enough there to at least have like a competitive, enjoyable season as a fan. And maybe that's the hope. Maybe that's what like a new manager can provide. Do they have an interim replacement?
Their bench coach, Don Kelly, will be taking over. So this, frankly,
Kelly.
don't know much about Don Kelly. He's been in this role since 2020.
Don Kelly. Is that a lefty for the Tigers for a while?
That's going to be some great recall. That doesn't sound familiar.
Like a platoon guy? How old is he?
Don Kelly. Let's do a little digging around here.
Sure,
And the
let's do
Pirates' new manager, 45 years old.
I might have
40,
this.
45 and 82 days
Okay.
old.
Okay.
From Butler, Pennsylvania, drafted
Okay.
by the Detroit Tigers in the 8th round of the 2001 June amateur draft from
pull up
Point
some-
Park University.
Let's pull some numbers.
He is an outfielder, third baseman, and first baseman.
Nailed it.
Played for the Pirates in 2007. Accumulated a negative .5 WAR in just 25 games. And then proceeded to spend a handful of years in Detroit, 2009 to 2014.
Come on, dog. Is your boy no ball?
And then finish his career with the Miami Marlins from 2015 to 2016.
Is your boy no ball? That's a pull.
Didn't you? Hold on. I thought you said he was a pitcher for the.
No, I said a platoon guy for the Tigers. A lefty platoon guy for the Tigers.
Oh, you said lefty. I just.
Yeah, I get
I
that.
think my
I get
mind
that.
immediately went to
Sure.
arm.
No, I
pitching.
remember hearing the name. I remember.
Bats lefty. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's recall right there.
That's some pull, dude, for somebody who didn't see the field every day.
And that's your new Pittsburgh Pirates manager.
I don't mean, I'm not like throwing shade that way. I don't think that's what makes a good manager by any means. But overall, just going back to my point, like it sucks, man. Like there's nothing to be excited about. There's no hope there. It's
Well,
just
hold
a
on.
miserable situation.
Let me ask you this. Going back to your earlier point about firing a guy in early May at that. Thinking you sort of continue that thought by saying it's kind of their way of saying pack it in. This isn't something that you're going to spark the team with. Can I play devil's advocate? Is this? I'm not giving the Pirates front office any credit necessarily, but just logistically, looking at the details of this and the timing of it, could you make the argument that the firing happening this early in May, this early in the season, all things considered, is their way, or it's an alternate response to the state of where the team is at, as opposed to, which we've seen before, other teams, other front offices will ride it out the course of the season, and you'll get a quote, you'll get a line or two from the front office execs being like, no, we believe in our guy, we're going to ride this out and see where it takes us, yada yada yada. But instead of doing that for another full season in Pittsburgh, they stepped in and said, we got to go a different path.
I'm not against the firing. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like, you start off this way, and what you mentioned about, like, you know, him losing the clubhouse. Like, I'm not against the firing. All of us baseball fans are just waiting for the Pirates to put their foot in the ground and commit to a direction. And I don't feel like just having an interim bench coach fill the role does that. It's more the same. If they go on some type of run, if they end up having a competitive season, that's great. But like, everyone is just ready for this. We want this. I want this. This is, you know, again, we're in a group chat with a diehard Pirates fan and Josh, and he has his own podcast that covers the Pirates, that he knows a ton about this team. And he's like, this is a classic OG baseball franchise. Like, this is like, and everything is set up. Everything. It's an incredible sports city. It's a top tier ballpark, top tier uniforms and color scheme. You have a thirsty fan base. Like, everything is poised. Everything is right there. There are so many franchises in baseball and other sports in general that don't have all of those boxes checked, that have been more successful. And it's brutal to watch this. And it's getting to the point where it's like, it's embarrassing. And no pressure on Don Kelly. I don't expect him to come save the day. I don't think any Pirates fan does. We're like, dude, like, just do something right. Fire somebody who at the top, sell, just change completely. Fold your cards and ask for a new hand, because this is like, we got to burn everything down and start over. And firing your manager isn't going to change anything.
I'm tired with this team of saying, hey, remember that wild card game back in 2013? Remember how electric that was? Yeah. How cool, how great would it be if we could see that again in Pittsburgh? I'm tired of saying that. I'm over it. Are those things still true to me? Yes. Like, I think it would be phenomenal for baseball, phenomenal for that city if we could see postseason baseball in Pittsburgh at PNC Park. But unless something changes, we're gonna sound like a broken record for years and years and years unless something changes. And that's not dramatic. There are a handful of teams across baseball that until they sell, nothing is going to change.
Yeah. Because
we've said it before, with the Pittsburgh Pirates, you are essentially a feeder team for the rest of Major League Baseball. And that's already the conversation. That conversation took place when they drafted Paul Skenes.
Yeah.
Forget about now. Like, that's conversation's been going on for a year plus, is who's he going to end up with when he inevitably hits the road? Because they'll throw out a mediocre contract for their standard, or I mean, I guess it's a great contract for their standards, but in terms of contracts across baseball, across that landscape, mediocre at best. When you look at these, you know, Brian Hayes, Brian Reynolds type contracts, like, okay, good for you. And I don't want to walk it back too much. I think we at least praise the Pirates for spending some money, but at the end of the day, that is not going to get it done. Like, you are nothing. at the macro level is going to change if that's all that you're willing to commit to.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It makes me wonder, not to go like too far off on a tangent with this. Not to like always tie the Yankees into it, but they were having a discussion on the broadcast the other day where they were talking about like, will we see like a reconfiguration of how baseball is set up? Because it was talking about like rain delays and how when you have these interleague matchups, like you're almost forced to get these games in through brutal weather because it's interleague and when are you going to meet up again, right? And so the discussion is like, okay, well, chances are it's probably not going to be until there's an expansion and to bump it up to 32 teams instead of 30. That allows you to have, 4 divisions, 4 teams each, and maybe you shake things up. And my whole point to this is like, it's no offense to the Cubs or the Cardinals or the Reds or the Brewers, but if there is some type of reshift and you have the Pirates now in a division with like the Red Sox or the Yankees or the Mets or the Phillies, where there's these juggernaut franchises, like, is that a prime position to sell? Is that a prime, like, it's never going to get better than this? Will the owner finally get out of the way? Will ownership finally just say, just here are the keys? And now you have the viewership of all of these massive fan bases. Now you have the attendance of all of these traveling fans, right? Like, does that help boost some stuff if there's a complete reshift, which I'm in the camp that I believe it's coming. I think there's a massive reshift. You're going to see forever teams that have been in the NL for forever shifting, and vice versa for the AL. You're going to have divisions completely shaken up. And I think with how jam-packed the Northeast is, I don't think the Pirates are going to end up in a similar situation playing in the Central. I think they're going to be merged in with some of these huge organizations that have a lot more pull, that have a lot more attraction. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was like the right time to sell, especially if you are then seeing some type of salary floor introduced in this new agreement, or some new threshold that has to be met in order to receive revenue sharing. It's a long-winded thought, but it's something to consider that, maybe that's all the Pirates fans have to look forward to, is that it's just a complete reshift in how we are seeing baseball and how it could change some of these bottom-tier teams. And it sucks calling them a bottom-tier team because I think it's an incredible franchise with a lot of history and, again, has every box checked except who's running the ship.
Well, let's talk about a guy. You talked possible league expansion. Let's talk about a guy that's not going to be there whenever that happens. Paul Skenes. As I mentioned, this was one of the topics I wanted to cover before this news even dropped. But his last start, which I believe was Tuesday.
Tuesday.
You need. Tuesday. Against the Cardinals, not great. Against the Cardinals. He's 0-4. Let me rephrase. He's been good against the Cardinals, but maybe for his standards, what he has shown against the rest of the league, not his best. But it all feeds into a much larger point in the fact that he gets 0 run support. But against the Cardinals, who he made his last start against, is 0-4 with a 2.76 ERA, 36 strikeouts in 5 starts.
Yeah.
He has 7 losses, according to Codify. 7 losses in 31 starts. 4 of those have come against the Cardinals. But as I mentioned, a much larger conversation that's going on right now, I believe, and people are aware of. I would think if you've been following Paul Skenes' career to this point, his rather short but exceptional career, no run support, just this season alone. And again, I know wins and losses matter not to people. I get that. But his earned run game log from just this season alone, he's given up 2 runs in order. 2 runs, 0 runs, 5 runs, 1 run, 2 runs, 0 runs, 3 runs, and 2 runs. He is 3-4 on the year.
How many starts has he had in his career?
31.
31.
No, excuse me. Yeah, 31. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. 7 losses in 31 starts, 4 of those being against the Cardinals. Look, the reality is this year he hasn't.
It's not good, man.
He hasn't looked the same this season.
Yeah, I don't think it's clicked yet.
It's not as sharp as he was last year.
Yet.
He's still been very good though. That's what I'm saying. Like outside of that,
scary.
I think that fart start 5 runs. I think that came against the Cardinals. No,
yeah,
pretty sure.
So.
Pretty sure they handed him that, if I'm not mistaken. But
it's giving me Jacob deGrom Mets vibes.
Very much so. Very much so.
Like this,
and you don't have to dig. You don't have to dig very deep to find that comp. Like
No.
it's pretty much right in your face. It's like, oh, okay, this is just what this is going to be the narrative of his career as long as he's in Pittsburgh.
Can you run me through those numbers again? I want to hear them again.
His earned run logs.
Yeah, no, just like during this.
How many runs
stretch.
he's allowed during his starts this year?
Yeah. No. With against the Cardinals.
Against the Cardinals, he's 0-4 in his career with an ERA of 2.76, 36 strikeouts in 5 starts. So he's 0-4 in 5 starts, but he has an ERA of 2.76. It makes you
wonder, man. It makes you wonder.
Your guy Justin Havens put out a tweet. The Nugget Chef. He said Paul Skenes' year-over-year drop in strikeout rate, 33.1 to 24.7, is the 3rd largest in Major League Baseball from last season to this season. A minimum 125 innings pitched.
I'm not too concerned. My biggest concern is, and I hate that they may not just ever for now in the modern era of what we know about the Pirates to get out from underneath the cloud of mismanaging pitchers and having names in their organization that like go on to shine. And this is one of the first names that was almost like pirate proof skills wise. You know what I mean? Like
Great point.
So good that even the Pirates can't mess this kid up. Then it makes you wonder if that's starting to happen. Like you got to have that thought in the back of your mind. And at the same time, you're like, oh, he's fine. It's early. You know, he hasn't got all things clicking yet. And he could very well just go on this stretch of just being dominant. And I'm curious. And if there's Pirates fans, Josh, if you're in the chat, let me know. But like, I would like to know if he's calling his own pitches, if he has a certain catcher, if they're calling these pitches, is the philosophy working? Like all of these things have to be wondered. It's not just about like, okay, is he getting run support? How's the defense behind him? It's also about like, is the pitch sequencing making sense? Is he attacking hitters the same way he did last year? Is the philosophy the reason why You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, if they make a shift, which I kind of hope that this conversation is taking place with Paul Skenes, figure out a way to enable him to go deeper in games. Like, even if it means dialing it back just a tad, just to enable him to go deeper into games and give us more each outing on average. I hope that's happening, because this is a guy that, to your point, pirate proof, but I also think this guy is, like, to put it a different way, current state of Major League Baseball proof, where we're seeing this shift in dialing starting pitching, like devaluing starting pitching, emphasizing the importance of a bullpen efficiency. I think this is a guy that kind of turns his nose to that and says, I'm taking the I was gonna say I'm taking the old school route. I'm gonna give you a 7-8 if I can. And I just hope that, not putting him in any sort of situation where he gets jammed up health-wise in order to force the issue.
Right.
But I just hope that they have at least the competency, which maybe they don't, to develop him to, if that's the type of pitcher he is, to fully develop that and just sort of cut him loose.
Yeah, it feels like, can the Pirates find a way to get out of his way? That's what it feels like. And you hate to just let, like, a young pitcher just completely take the reins and say, like, he's going to call his own pitches, and then he can pull the whole, pitch comm on his belt kind of thing, where he's making the calls. But, like, maybe it is that way. I don't know. But here's a promise that I think we should make, is that since we just spent 25 minutes on the freaking Pirates, I think we don't talk about them again until there's like a 10-game winning streak. How's that?
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm sick of it, man.
Unless Paul's, unless
what a week, by the way. Like, young guy jumping off the freaking wall. You got,
dude, it's crazy.
It's just
in Pittsburgh right now.
It's
man.
nuts. What's going on?
Crazy. Let's not talk about the Pirates
they
anymore.
Just traded, if they're Steelers fans, they just traded George Pickens away. Like,
I saw that. Yeah.
What is happening in Pittsburgh? Yeah.
All right, that's enough. Unless Skenes twirls a PG or something, kind of out. Kind of out.
Them off. Yeah.
Kind of out. Let's switch gears here. Let's talk about some guys that have been tearing it up. Let's talk Freddie Freeman, the first recipient of this week's credit cannon. Nate, did you know his last 50 ABs coming into today?
Wait, who are we talking about?
Freddie Freeman.
Oh.
Frederick.
Okay.
Last 50 ABs. You got a guess on what he's hitting his last 50 ABs, Nate?
I won't look. Last 50? $415. Close. Higher?
440 over his last
Good
50
night.
ABs. He's got 4 home runs, 18 ribbies, 7 walks, and an OPS at a clip of 1289.
Decent.
That's worthy of a credit cannon. Not to move off of Freddie so fast, but I'm particularly excited to crown this next individual as the next recipient of said credit cannon. Nate, would you do the honors?
Is this the top cannon of the week? Would you say that?
Given just the trajectory of his career, I'm excited particularly about this one.
Ooh, okay.
Byron Buxton. He's hitting three. I mean, talk about just a. This dude's had a rough go. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
He's had a rough go. But I tell you what, I'm certainly regretting dropping him in fantasy. I picked him up as
the ultimate fantasy baseball tease.
Oh.
Every year.
I felt good. I was like, oh, he's swinging it well, but I was like, I'm not gonna jam up my roster and just keep him on for too long because I mean it's Byron Buxton at the end of the day. But Byron Buxton said,
"Suck it, Kyle.
I'm Byron Buxton, so do with that information what you will." And he, I gotta say, is killing it. He's hitting 323. This is over his last 15 games. Hitting 323, 20 hits, 6 homers, 16 ribbies, 11 runs scored, and an OPS of 1026. That's coming into today. On the year,
Byron we know.
On the year, dude, he's hitting 274, 9 jacks, 25 ribbies. He's got an OPS plus of 133.
Okay.
And you're a big savant guy.
I am a big savant. Some say I'm a savant.
A lot of red. And I even found out today, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure this is factual. Fastest sprint speed in baseball. Which I don't know how that makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense.
It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. Can we confirm this? Because this is what I heard.
Too.
That's what I'm saying. Hold on. I don't want to just like spew incorrect information.
Even
here.
with the Simpson kid in Tampa?
That's what I'm saying.
He's faster than him. He's faster than Bobby Witt.
Byron Buck. Okay, here we go. According to TL Schwartz on Twitter, Ted.
TL Schwartz? Was that I feel like that was the name of the toy store that Kevin McAllister broke into in Home Alone 2.
We'll go with it. He said Byron Buxton's 30.2 foot per second sprint speed is the fastest in baseball. It's his personal best since 2019. So he went on to say in his tweet, Bobby Witt Jr. is there with him, but 7 years younger. Said a healthy Buxton is amazing. Yeah, but his savant, I mean, the base running value 100, his hard hit percentage 98th percentile, bat speed for how old you say he is?
31
is 88th percentile, barrel percentage 91.
Buxton. I'm just as broken as him physically too.
Now with a lot less money in your bank account.
A lot less.
Hold on, I'm not older than him too. There's no way. Hold on.
That's right. We're officially getting into that.
No way. There is no
phase.
way I'm older than Byron Buxton. You could have given me 100 names of like, are you older than this guy? Or are you younger than this guy? Like at the top of that list, I'm saying, well, get Byron Buxton out of here. I know for sure he's older than me. Not to be.
Yep.
I am
sad.
I'm 3 months older. No, I'm out. All right, this was good. This was fun. I'll catch you later.
Yeah. Yep.
You know
what I like so far?
That's depressing.
About this situation is that I wanted to look up the amount of games he's DH'd over the last few years. So 2022, he had 35 games at DH. 2023, he had 80 games at DH. 2024, which he played 102 games last year, more than I would have guessed. Still not great, but more than I would have guessed. He only DH'd 6 times. So far, none this year. So I wonder if they're just starting to just like, you know what? Like, you can't just keep this guy in a cage. You can't just keep him in a bubble. Like, he's gonna play the way he plays. We have to utilize his skill set and his tools. Like, just let him go. Let him play. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt. That's kind of how it has to be. And for him to be Byron Buxton, I feel like that's the way he needs to play. That's the type of environment he needs to be in. He can't, if the team's looking at me like I need to worry about my glass bones, then I'm going to worry about my glass bones. But if my team just says, you know what? You do you. And now this is what you get. So as baseball fans, let's just hope he doesn't break anything.
This kind of makes me think last year, if you recall, in fact, let me confirm how many starts he had, because Tyler Glasnow, obviously a different situation, different side of the ball. But if you recall, last year he had gotten hurt, but leading up, like before that injury even happened, before he hit the shelf, I said, going into the year, I was like, all right, you're with the Dodgers now. You don't need to push your limits. You don't need to be something more than you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Tyler Glasnow, you can give me, and I'm pretty sure I threw out like 20 starts. I was like, if you can give me 20 starts, I'll call this season a success. And he put up a 3.49 over 22 starts. And I was like, because I'm pretty sure he hit the shelf later. It was on the back end of his year.
Yeah.
And people were like,
because he didn't pitch in the postseason, right?
Right. Yeah. And Dodgers fans are like, oh, are you kidding me again with the injuries? And I'm like, you got 22 starts out of him.
Yeah.
And
I think we just need to like shift our mindset and expectations.
Yeah.
Right?
For guys like this, Byron Buxton's the same thing. I mean, what's like a number that we could say like, hey, if you can give us this many games and at the very least give us a chance to compete for a postseason spot, then, it is what it is. He played 102 last year, which was just the second time in his career.
Dear Lord, man.
I mean, I hate to say it, but
has
like,
not played any games.
I hate to say it, but like, if you can give us 100 again, like, I think that's, you kind of, I said 20 for Glasnow last year. If you can give us 100 as an outfielder this year, that would be, in my eyes, a win.
Okay, let's do this.
I mean, he hit 279 with 18 homers last year, but he's on pace for a better year this year. What?
Okay, this doesn't account for 2020's weird season. He's averaging like 77 games a year before this year.
That's not good. I don't think I realized.
Again, that's not like perfect math because I'm not going to take out that year and then fix that. But he's only cracked 100 games twice in his career.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. It's not perfect math, I'm sure, but you're probably not far off because I mean the game.
I think
logs,
100. I think 100 games,
dude.
That's unfortunately what we like. The way you see Glasnow with 22 starts, I think we got to see
like 100.
We got to see Byron Buxton with 100 games,
and I'd be happy.
He hit a 3.6 WAR last year, which is like positive. He had a 136 OPS plus. An 859 OPS, like you'll take that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks. Like you wish you had more.
Well, I mean, look, he's going to impact the game. So with a guy like Byron Buxton, it's just the availability. That's all I care about. Like, it's not a matter of like, well, will you take this? Will you take that? Like, just give me availability, and we'll figure out a way to have you impact the game.
Do you have his stats pulled up right now?
Yeah.
Can you close them without looking at them?
Yep.
Hopefully you didn't see this number. Do you want to know how many stolen bases he has in his career?
It's probably not very many.
The best sprint speed in baseball has 100 stolen bases in his career. This is his 11th season. The fastest guy in baseball has 100 stolen bases in 11 years.
That's crazy.
So it's not even like they're like, it's not even like it's happening. I don't understand. This is broken. This is a broken Baseball Reference page. I'm lost. But good on the cannon. Good on the cannon. Not to poop on that more than what we just did. Let's bring it back to some positivity.
Speaking of the cannon, next on the list, another guy that I was excited to get to because, well, I picked him up in fantasy and made the smart move to actually hang on to him.
The old fantasy bias.
Javier Baez. Can we talk about Javier Baez? And this, like, jokes aside about the whole fantasy thing, can we like talk for a minute about like what Javi Baez has been doing this season? And I think you can almost single-handedly credit the move to the outfield. Like that's the only thing that's really, like, that's the only shakeup that's really taken place here.
There's a slight mechanical thing that looks a little different hitting wise, but yeah,
to this extent, there has
this is
to
the
be
biggest adjustment.
Yeah, this has been the greatest or most impactful mental shift, I guess you could say, because like a mechanical thing can do wonders, but completely changing where you play as a position player, has to impact you even more. I would venture to say in his case. Yeah. But his last 15 games, he's hitting .333, which comes out to 18 hits, 3 homers, 14 RBIs, 12 runs scored, and an OPS of 942 over his last 15. And that's coming into today. I think they just wrapped up the first game of the doubleheader.
I didn't look at stats. Yeah, I saw he had a knock and an RBI today. I don't know what else.
Yeah, a little bloop into right, I believe. Little RBI single, if I recall.
Liner in the books.
Keeping it going. But he's playing
a good center field too. It's not just like it's not like a below average performance. Like he looks really good out there. He's a crazy athlete, dude.
He is. I was gonna say the athleticism is there. He is currently riding a 8 game hitting streak.
There you go.
Actually, hold on. Maybe if he's showing up in the book as having, that was a doubleheader against the O's. So it actually might be a little more than that. It might be 9 or so because it looks like he just didn't play in the second game. So maybe tack on another to that. So he's approaching at near double-digit hit streak. So stringing together quite a stretch right now.
Yeah, I feel like he's one of those guys that, like, if you can just get any ounce of confidence back, he can. If he can look in the mirror again and be like, yes,
he feeds off of that.
I'm back, just a little bit. This is what you get. This is productive, man. This is like, no, it's not. You got a lot taller hill to climb to live up to the contract, but like, hey, if you're a Tiger fan, you'll take this, you know?
On the year, he's hitting .313, 3 homers, OPS plus a 137. He's already accumulated a WAR of 1.5, which it's got to be more than the last
3 years combined. No, because he plays pretty solid defense. So
he had a negative 1.1 last year, a 0.8.
Wait. Let's do the math. Hold on. Read them off.
All right, yeah. Let's find the breaking point here. Okay, so
20 minus 1.1. What else you got?
Okay, so I think the cutoff's gonna be 2021 because he had a 4.3 that year because that's when the trade went down from Chicago to the Mets. So we'll say 2022 to 2024, he had a 2.4, a 0.8, and a negative 1.1.
It's a 2.1.
And that's
it's already almost totaled.
He's already almost totaled the WAR of his previous 3 seasons. So
then if he stays in center field for another 20, 30 games, he's probably there.
What a start to the year for
him,
Mr. Baez. Moving right along here. Nathan Eovaldi of the Texas Rangers. His last 4 starts have been exceptional. He's tallied 29 strikeouts over his last 4 starts. He's gone 6 innings on the dot in every one of those 4 starts against, let's be honest, quality teams. The Red Sox, the A's, the Giants, and the Dodgers. Say what you will about the A's, but they're hanging around in the early goings of the season. 29 strikeouts over those four starts. He's only allowed 4 earned runs in that stretch and is managing traffic well. I mean, he's given up 5 hits in 2 of those, in a couple of those starts, 6 in another, 3 in another. He's only walked 2, so he's managing the traffic well, given the relative lack of earned runs, but is looking very strong for a team that absolutely needs it on that side of the ball.
This is why you bring a guy like this back. This is why you can trust guys like this in your rotation, because the offense is going to have some bad streaks. And when you have a guy that says, you know what, I got you, offense. I got you, pitching staff. Let me do my thing. I'm going to give our team a chance. Like that's how things can start to pick up and spark. So I think we can all look at the Texas Rangers and say that April was not the Texas Rangers at the end of the year. It's just not what they're going to be, especially offensively. So just get through this valley, and it's guys like this that help you lift up. So they're coming. I feel like they're coming eventually. And no one's running away with the West. And even if they do, we've seen what the Mariners can do when they're running away with it.
Shots fired! Yes. Shots fired!
Next up, Chris Sale. I think he may have figured something out. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think he may have figured something out. I think you're getting vintage Cy Young Chris Sale back. From here on out. His last 2 starts, 10 punch outs apiece.
Decent.
13 2/3 innings over that stretch. Only 2 earned runs. I think
that's what you want.
I think he has figured something out. And again, talking about a team that needs all the help they can get as they sort of crawl their way back from a rough start to the season. The Braves are loving every bit of what they've seen out of Chris Sale the last 2 starts. And another guy that's looked, hate to say it, pretty good last 4 starts. Carlos Rodon. I think you can speak to this a little bit. One of, what was it? His last start out, right? He took a no-hit bid, or am I misremembering? He had a no-hit bid there for a little bit against the Padres, no? Or am I mistaken? I thought there was one outing he had recently where he had a bid for a little bit.
I mean, if you want to call like getting into like the 5th a bid.
I thought it was like maybe the 6th, but yeah, you're probably right. But has looked very good.
Oh, I think that was the Orioles. No, because the Orioles only went 6. Yeah, I mean, this is a pitching staff that like is only gonna go if he goes. Like, you know what, Max Fried has been unreal. Max Fried has been like league leader in multiple pitching categories. So like the depth there has to be followed up with the Carlos Rodon. And it kind of feels like he's starting to figure out his mentality in a way. Like he's kind of a head case, man. He's just all over the place. And like, you don't know who you're going to get. Like we've seen like the super amped up Carlos Rodon who like wears himself out after one time through the order and then looks terrible after that. and this is like the first time I think in pinstripes that you're seeing Carlos Rodon like go quality starts. I mean, these are quality starts. Go back to the second in April, 6 innings, 5 2/3, 6, 7, 6, 6 2/3. Like those are solid starts. Those are very decent. And even in those April starts, he was getting hit around a little bit, but he's still chewing up innings. And like that's what these guys have to do. It's not always going to be lights out, 2-3 hits, no earned runs. He's keeping the walks down. The strikeouts I'll give and take. I think when he doesn't fall in love with his slider and overly use the fastball, like it's just a good mix. Seems like they might have found like the right recipe in pitch calling, and we'll see if it keeps up, man. I hope it does.
Originally didn't have plans to mention this on the show today, but they're actually talking about it on MLB Network right now. So maybe it's notable because I actually just saw a quote.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Rafael Devers, it sounds, is officially unwilling to play first base. Not this again. That's all I can say. Not this again, please.
Is there a leak in the clubhouse? What is happening?
Can we not do this again, please?
You guys are playing good ball.
Here's the quote. Yeah, that's the thing. We are, and
like, just shut up and go keep winning.
Media just eats this up. Granted, seems like he's putting his foot in his mouth. He said, here's the quote. He said, "I know I'm a ball player, but at the same time, they can't expect me to play every single position out there. In spring training, they talked to me and basically told me to put away my glove, that I wasn't going to play any other position but DH. So right now, I just feel like it's not an appropriate decision by them to ask me to play another position. It was the GM that I spoke with. I'm not sure what he has with me. He played ball, and I would like to think he knows that changing positions like that isn't easy." My brother, where do you this whole they can't expect him to play every position out there, brother? DH in the corners. We're not asking you to catch. We're not asking you to play the outfield. We're not asking you to pitch. Like the Red Sox are paying him how much? Like 300 something, and you're throwing a little temper tantrum because they said, "Well, you're going to be our DH to start, and now we've got an injury, so maybe would you think about playing first base?" And he's going, "Well, I can't play everywhere, guys. Come on, dude."
Oh boy, the good news
you're
is
making $313.5 million. What?
The good news is, I mean, he's yours until 2033.
Which I'm fine with, but like, just stop with the posturing and like the little hissy fit, and like, I get it. You don't like, you want there to be more clarity, but sometimes things happen to where you gotta step up and be like, all right, I got to take one for the team here. Like, you can't just have, this isn't McDonald's, man. You can't, or freaking BK, can't just have it your way all the time. If you want that, then go to BK. But you're at Fenway Park.
Respect on those chicken fries.
Love those chicken fries.
It's the only thing I need there.
The only reason I would go there. But
correct.
You're at Fenway Park, Rafi. You can't play at Burger King. You can't have it your way all the time.
Was this, I feel like I know the answer to this, but I'm just confirming. This was a Chaim Bloom extension, not your current GM extension, correct? Or right? Like the contract was this front office.
But I mean, he was the one in the position, but this was ultimately a John Henry move because he's the one that opens up the checkbook for these bigger deals.
For sure.
Chaim was able to presumably take care of these smaller deals on his own when John Henry probably didn't even know that certain guys were being added to the team. But that John Henry was very much familiar with.
This is weird, man, because like if they have any hopes of keeping Bregman, like this story isn't going to go away if he doesn't shut up. It's very odd. It's really odd to like still have this. Good for the reporters on like understanding you can go back to this well and you're going to get an answer.
Yeah. Get your
like,
clicks, man.
You'd think at this point it would be just dead in the water. Don't even bring it up. But like he keeps feeding them, man. He keeps feeding them. It's crazy. It really is. Like I get it around like the Costas injury and like now this is back in the discussion or potentially the cards are back on the table. But like there's a lot of they in that quote, which is scary.
Yep, exactly.
That's scary.
What a mess.
No trade clause? Let me see. I had the contract already pulled up.
What a mess, dude. Like, step up and just help the team out, dude. Like,
yeah, I don't see anything.
Like, you're
no
good.
Trade clause.
I've said it before. I don't want this to turn into like a Rafael Devers slander fest as this story continues to progress, but like you're good, and I'm glad you wear the jersey that you do, no doubt. But like you're talking an awful lot for a guy that I don't think has the pull in his career just yet to be able to do. I just don't.
It's a very strange situation because like you look at his career, he's already been in the league for 9 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He's 28. He hasn't, I mean, I'm not saying this, this isn't intended to be like a knock on the guy because like the numbers he's put up have been good, very respectable, but like he hasn't cracked 40 homers. The last
he's
time
a 3,100 guy.
The last time he came close to knocking on the door was 2021, an all-star season. He had 38. But like if you look, it's unfair to maybe put him in this kind of conversation, but if you look at what Aaron Judge is doing, it's like, okay, that's a guy that can have the pull. Should he want to have the pull? But as a guy that's talking the way Rafael Devers is talking, you'd think he's a 40, 120 guy.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't listen to our podcasts after they come out. But I might just replay what you said over and over again for a while. That's nice that you're just comparing.
Am I wrong?
Situations like this, though.
Am I wrong? Rafael Devers is talking as if if he has the pull of an Aaron Judge, and he like, yeah, is he? It's weird to say face of the franchise because he's just not a very like forward facing guy. He's a guy that just likes to show up, mash homers, and go home. So it's weird for me to say face of the franchise, but. Like, sure, you can slot him into that role, but yes, in the chat, he's no Big Papi. He's talking like he's Big Papi, and he's just not. And he needs to be better about, especially considering you finally have a team organized in a fashion that could make it to the postseason, something they haven't done in years.
And off to a good start. Like,
and
doing pretty well.
You're continuing to put your foot in your mouth by saying, "Oh, I'm unwilling to do this. I'm willing to do that." Honestly, I think that quote that I just read off, I think that's he was waiting for an opportunity with the way he felt he was treated with the whole third base thing.
The second Costas went down like a bag of dirt, that quote was already spinning up in his head.
He was waiting for it, and he was sitting on it, which is that's just gross. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's close the book here. Teoscar Hernandez to the IL. We got a couple groin issues here. What the heck? I didn't even connect the dots. Teoscar to the IL with a grade 1 groin strain, and it was just announced minutes ago that I think Hunter Green's officially on the shelf with a right groin injury.
Tough.
Rough week for the groins. Clip that out of context. Teoscar.
It's possibly a name that quote this offseason.
That's a good one. Rough week for the groins. Teoscar and Hunter Green to the IL. Dodgers can certainly afford that shock to the system. Not really much of a shock. They'll be fine. They'll manage. They're playing very well. But the Reds, you hope that Hunter Green can bounce back. He was off to, I think to start he got pulled from. He was off to a pretty good start. He had 6 strikeouts through 3. So just continue to show more of that dominance that he's really shown for the majority of the season thus far. So you hope he can bounce back for a Reds team that, let's check in as of today, second place at 500 behind the Cubs, just 3 games. I know it's early, but I was
see if they can handle it.
I was propping up the Reds coming into this year. Don't you forget.
Yeah. This could be your Royals of last year.
Pretty sure I made that exact comment.
Yeah.
That's some good recall right there.
Yeah. Still working up here at the age of 32. At the completion of 32. It's so depressing to say.
My takeaway, I mean, we've had some good conversation today, but my takeaway from this whole thing is the fact that we're both older than Byron Buxton, which I need to reach out to Baseball Reference and ensure that that's not a typo, because I think it is. I need to double check and make sure they're on top of their P's and Q's, because this, I mean, you just look at Byron Buxton, you're like, this guy is pushing 40. And he's 31.
Yeah. His body is probably like
his body's pushing 60.
Yeah.
Last note here, Baltimore Orioles.
This suck.
This just made me so mad. I'm like, they're unrelated, but just the timing of it couldn't have been more comical. According to Matt Weyrich on Twitter, the Maryland Stadium Authority has approved the Orioles' plans for the upgraded scoreboard in center field. They say will be the 12th largest in Major League Baseball, which I don't know why that's noteworthy. That's like
12th.
middle of the pack. I guess he's just given sort of some comparison there as to where it stacks up. 12th largest in Major League Baseball upon its completion this offseason, and renderings have been released. Look, again, I'll say it again. I know they're unrelated, but you're making plans to upgrade the scoreboard before you're making plans to upgrade your pitching staff. And that, to me, is the Baltimore Orioles of 2025 in a nutshell.
We need to have Ryan on.
Ryan,
so it's just the elimination of the like signs that are going around. It's just going like all screen basically.
Yeah.
So it is like the same size, just more screen.
They may expand it, but yeah, to your point, it's gonna be a lot of screen, a lot of pixels.
Who cares?
I don't, and that's entirely the point. That's the point. That's why I wanted to make note of it, is because we're talking about things like this with the Orioles and not talking about starting pitching or pitching at all.
What a mess. They're also doing like the like attractions outside of the stadium kind of set up soon, right?
Yeah, I think I saw that. There's a lot of parks that are making plans to take their stab at like the battery, if you will.
This one makes a lot of sense though, because it's so close to where the Ravens play. So it's like I could see something right in between those two, a little something instead of a parking lot. But yeah, I don't know. Like this is just not what needs to be talked about right now. This doesn't help the cover up of how bad this team has looked this year. Let's have Ryan on soon. Let's shoot him a text. So your team sucks. We need you to come on here and vent.
Lauren in the chat says we do need to get Ryan on, but he'll just say the O's are fine. She's not wrong.
I know he's overly
not
optimistic. We need to like tear him down a little bit.
Yeah, we need to tear him down so that he'll tear his team down, and then we can start anew. We can sort of
that's right.
Readjust as we go.
I'm waiting. I think the next news I need to hear is a Charlie Morton retirement. That's the next headline I need to hear from Baltimore.
Speaking of which, closing thought. A congratulations to friend of the pod, like one of the OG friend of the pod, Ross Stripling.
Oh, yeah.
Calling it a career, hanging up the spikes. I saw that announcement just the other day. What a
good
dude,
career,
man.
Good
what a
career.
dude. Good
Guy.
career. Good guy. And
I think he was maybe like our second or third big leaguer that we ever interviewed.
Yeah.
Like he was like very early on that we got him.
He helped us out too, man. He tried to like put us into contact with some other guys and things like that. It was always a help whenever I reached out to him. Good dude.
Didn't he had a little podcast at one point, didn't he? Is he still doing that?
Yeah. They finished, or they wrapped that up, I guess a few years ago at this point, but because I think he was just trying to focus on what he was doing, but it's possible he brings it back. Who knows?
Yeah. Good guy. Very good career. Very solid career. It's a good what did he put out a tweet, right? I think I saw he put out a tweet.
I think it was Instagram or something, but yeah,
I didn't realize his nickname was Chicken Strip.
Yeah, you remember the player weekend? It was on the back of his jersey.
That's a good nickname.
He leaned into that hard, and for good reason.
Yeah.
Name like that, why not?
Solid career. Congrats on a good career, Ross. I know you're listening.
Good guy. That's all I got.
That's all I got, man.
Enjoy the rest of your birthday.
Thanks. Enjoying
everybody in
these
chat.
Emails.
I'm gonna clip that and send it to your boss. Everybody in chat, wish Nate a happy birthday. He's turning 74 today.
Feels like it. If you were to ask my knee, that's what it would say. 74.
Crazy.
My sister said that the walker is on the way. She said that it's being shipped. So it's just tough, It's tough. Good thing I have a gorgeous wife. You know what I mean? Like, good thing that helps. Otherwise, I'd have no confidence.
I texted you this morning the picture of the hat that I'm sending your way for your birthday, but it actually is going to be a handrail to put next to your toilet in the bathroom to help you get up.
I also have stairs, so I'd like the chair that goes up and down the stairs with the seatbelt.
Yeah.
I think that's important. Safety first, guys.
Safety first.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
As always, people, I'm not going to do it, and you better not either. Don't go chasing curveballs.
Love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.